Welcome to The Explainer. So let's talk about a huge problem, a really huge one. What do you do when you're trying to describe something divine, something infinite, and you just run out of words? We're going to dive into how one ancient poet tackled exactly that. Seriously, just think about it for a second. Your job is to describe something that's literally indescribable, to capture infinite beauty with, our clunky, finite language. It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, one poet decided to take a crack at it, and their approach, it's just brilliant. Okay, so the text we're digging into is a hymn, the Sri Venkatesa Prapati. It's dedicated to Lord Venkateswara. But here's the key. The whole point of this beautiful poetry isn't just to sound nice. It's all designed to lead you to one single powerful idea, Prapati. And that word, Prapati, it means total, complete surrender. The poem itself is basically a pathway to get you to that spiritual state. So, how do you even start something like this? Well, the poet's first move is super smart. They don't just say the divine is beautiful like nature. No, they go bigger. They argue that the divine is the source of all beauty in nature. It sets up a whole new hierarchy. And this isn't some vague, fluffy praise either. The poet gets incredibly specific. They break their argument down into three distinct, really powerful points. And they focus all this attention on the divine feet, which in this tradition are a huge symbol of grace and a place of refuge. Okay, check this out. The first point is a total mindbender. It's not that the feet smell like flowers. It's that the feet are what give the flowers their scent in the first place. Wild, right? Then you add in that they're perfectly symmetrical, a flawless pair, and that looking at them always feels brand new. I mean, you're building a case for something that is way, way beyond our normal world. So you'd think that's it, right? Mission accomplished. The divine is better than nature. But nope, the poet is just getting warmed up. Now they do something even more radical. They basically decide that the very act of comparing things is the problem. Think about it. In classical poetry, the lotus is the gold standard. It's the ultimate symbol of beauty, of purity. If you compare something to a lotus, that's like the highest praise possible. So you'd expect the poet to use this as their ultimate compliment, their big finale. But this is where the whole thing takes a fascinating turn. They just reject it completely. The poet basically says, to even suggest the Lord's feet are like a lotus is rude. It's an insult. And you have to ask why. How could that possibly be an insult? Well, here's why. Because even a perfect lotus, the pinnacle of natural beauty, is just a faint, kind of clumsy copy of the real thing. The divine feet are infinitely more delicate, more beautiful. So saying they're like a lotus isn't a compliment. It's like comparing a Da Vinci masterpiece to a quick doodle on a napkin. You're not lifting it up, you're actually bringing it down. And this whole idea gets summed up perfectly in this amazing story told by the scholar Koratha. He takes this deep philosophical point and turns it into, well, a literal cosmic competition. And I absolutely love this part. It's not some dry academic debate anymore. It's a story. Just picture it, a cosmic arena. In one corner, the lotus, champion of the natural world. In the other, the divine feet. And they're about to face off to see who is the true standard of perfection. All right, so the contest has 3 rounds. The categories for judging, the big 3, beauty, softness, and fragrance. The very qualities that both are famous for. It's a head-to-head battle. And the final score? It wasn't even a contest. It was a complete blowout, 3-0. In beauty, softness, and fragrance, the divine feet won hands down. The lotus, the best that nature has to offer, was just totally outclassed. But here's the brilliant payoff. This story actually explains something you see all the time in religious art. You know how gods and goddesses are so often sitting or standing on a lotus? Well, this story says that's the lotus's sentence for losing. Its job, forever, is to be the pedestal for the perfection it could never, ever match. It's nature serving the divine. So, okay, what's the whole point of all this? We've gone from surpassing nature to rejecting all comparisons to this epic cosmic showdown. Where does it all lead? Well, it takes us right back to where we started. It all comes down to that one word, Prapati. See, the poet has thrown everything they've got at this problem, every poetic trick in the book. And what they've managed to prove, with all this incredible artistry, is that words fail. Our language just completely breaks when it comes up against something infinite. And that's the genius of it. The entire hymn is engineered to bring you to a point of, well, intellectual failure, to make you realize that you just can't describe this. And once you hit that wall, what else is there to do? The only logical thing left is to stop trying, to let go, to just surrender. So in a way, the poem's greatest success is showing you how it's destined to fail. And that kind of leaves us with this one big idea to chew on, doesn't it? What if the highest form of praise isn't finding the perfect words or a better metaphor? What if the only way to really, truly get something that's indescribable isn't to describe it at all, but to just experience it through that act of surrender?